What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the novice knows out here in these fragrance streets. And guys, man, I haven't seen y'all in a minute, man. It's been a while since I posted a video. It's good to be back. I actually am going to resume posting videos regularly here in the next couple of weeks. But I had to jump in and post this video because I was tagged by my guy, man, Randy the fragrance dude, in this tag trend here that we got going on. It's one designer and one niche fragrance for every season. Shout out to Randy for the tag, man. Shout out to my boy Meech, man, the Sillage Saint, because I think he actually tagged me first. And Meech, I still owe you like I think 3 or 4 different tags. Man, you know, it's been a while, man. I gotta try to think about what I'm gonna wear on my steak dinner, man. So but yeah, I saw like multiple tags. I think a couple of other people tagged me too, so I was like, man, if Sillage is hitting me up and if Randy is hitting me up, then I gotta make sure I post a video on it, man. So without further ado, man, here are my one designer and one niche fragrance for every season. Now, before I even get into that, couple things that I want to address. You guys know me, and you know how I do my videos. If I do a top 5, it's always a top 5 plus 1. If I do a top 10, it's always a top 10 plus 1. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing right here. I'm going to do one designer and one niche for every season plus 1, meaning that it could be a niche, it could be a designer, but I'm going to throw in a little bit of an extra, a little bit of lanyap in there for each and every season. So there'll be one extra one that'll pop up there. Also, wanted to go ahead and throw out my tags here at the beginning, man. I'm definitely going to tag my boy, man, the scent bubble on this trend here. Got to tag my boy BT Scents on this. Make sure that you jump on it. My guy, man, BMJ, Beginner Mindset Johnny, Jitsu is the name of the channel, man. That's my guy, man. I'm going to go ahead and tag you so you can jump on this thing. And I think I want to actually reach out to some of the ladies on this tag. So you know I got to reach out to my NBT, man. Tracy Lynette, shout out to the Tracy Lynette tribe, man. I'm hoping that you jump on this one. Naturally Liz, my girl, man, Liz, I think this is right up your alley. So definitely want to tag you in this one. I also want to tag my girl Nye. Check out Nye Amani's channel. She's got some great opinions on fragrances and she's naturally excited about them. So definitely want to tag you. And also Fragrant Findings, I want to tag you too, because I think this is your type of challenge too. This is your type of tag. I think you're going to enjoy this one. So without further ado, guys, let me go ahead and start with my spring setup here. Well, actually, let me go ahead and set the mood. And bam, gotta go green for the season, man. You know, spring is one of those, is the time of year where things are renewed, everything's budding and blooming, everything's getting off to a fresh start, man. And I can't think of a better fragrance to start with in that scenario than this guy right here. I'm gonna start with my designer. This is Brioni Eclat. Now, when you think about fresh starts, this is definitely that. This is a fresh, beautiful citric type of vibe here. This is a beautiful grapefruit and rose blend, and of course you got a good bit of that sandalwood in there. Sandalwood makes any fragrance better, and a good push of ambroxan on this. This is just fresh. When I talked about fresh a little while ago and things being renewed, when you spray this on, it gives you that vibe of a freshly cut rose. It gives you the vibe of a fresh grapefruit rind. It is beautiful. It wafts through the air beautifully here as well. When you spray this thing on, it's got a musky nature to it as well. And that musky nature does give it a nice, and it's a clean musk too, gives it a nice, fresh and invigorating vibe when you wear this fragrance, man. This is a beautiful frag. This is one of those that will last on skin probably about 6 to 8 hours here. Gets mostly into that musk and ambroxan bag in the later dry down on this thing. But at the top, that first couple of hours, you're getting treated with a beautiful blend of the grapefruit, man, and the rose. It's gorgeous, man. Definitely jump on this. If you never put your nose on it, you got to, man. This is a springtime classic, I believe, in Brioni Eclat. Now, that was my designer, and I kind of went in the same vein, but in a little bit of a different direction here with the niche. So my niche shows up in all my videos. You know, it's always sitting right here by my side because I actually love this fragrance, man. This is Kelly & Jones Mezcal Añejo. Kelly & Jones Mezcal Añejo here, man. See if I can get it focused up. There we go. Now, here's the thing about this fragrance, man. This fragrance is actually great for fall and spring because of some of the qualities, you know, of this fragrance, some of the nuances, some of the things that it does very well. One of those things being the sillage on this thing. It's a gorgeous sillage. You're looking in this, this is, like it says, Mezcal Añejo. You're getting a smoky tequila vibe in this, but it's got an amber that sits behind it that just makes it resonate throughout any environment that you're in. It pushes out so beautifully, that smoky tequila with, like I said, that amber resonance. But the superstar of this fragrance is the peach note that this fragrance has, and this has one of the most beautiful peaches that I've encountered. A lot of peaches in fragrance, man, and a lot of them come off a little bit synthetic. Some of them come off candied, that type of vibe. That's not this. This is more of a photorealistic type of peach note, and it plays so beautifully in the air. If you were to get a nice crisp wind that came through like you get in the springs, man, it would float in the sun as well in a really beautiful, warm way. This is gorgeous, man. And like I said, it could have been in the fall as well, because I've gotten compliments in the fall and in the spring with this. This is gorgeous, man. I love it. If you have not tried it, Mezcal Añejo is just one of the ones that Kelly & Jones has in the brand. They've got a whole mezcal line in there. Mezcal Verde is actually the next one I'm getting. Think of green Irish tweed mixed with a little bit of a Blanco, smoky Blanco tequila. That's what that is. It's fresh, it's invigorating as well. It's next in line. It'll be on next year's tag video, but this one is on this year's, and it's gorgeous. If you haven't put your nose on it, go to her website, go ahead and get the discovery kits that they have. Gorgeous, man. This is Kelly & Jones Mezcal Añejo. Now, my one to grow on, and I had to shout out Randy on this one, man, because of the fact that, you know, he tagged me. Look, this is one of my favorite fragrances for spring, and I know it's one of his, so I had to throw it in there so that you know, because I think this is one of the first comments I left on this channel was like, bro, that's fire. That's this guy right here, man. This is Polo Cologne Intense. Let's see if I can get the focus here. Come on, focus up, focus up. There we go. So, what you're looking at right here is just a green aromatic fragrance, man. It's got a little bit of mint in there too, but what you're looking at for the most part is just a very green, classy type of fragrance with a little bit of swagger to it. It's got a little ambroxan in it, so it pushes out pretty well when you wear it, but it definitely gives you one of the most beautiful scent trails that you could possibly have when you're wearing this here. It's got almost a subtle type of sweetness to it, but it's not a sweetie. It is definitely a firm green fragrance with a little bit of floral nuance to it. It's gorgeous. I love it. This is one of my, I mean, as you can see, look at the dent in here. As you can see, it's one of my favorite reaches, man, for the spring and actually in the fall too. But if you're looking for something this spring to like really kind of set it off a little bit and you're into that green Fougere type of vibe, go for this, man. This is Polo Cologne Intense. Man, I might actually wear this a little bit later. Anyway, Polo Cologne Intense. Now we're about to get into those dog days of summer, man, when that heat just turns up all the way to 11, man. I mean, you can tell by the lighting change here. A good white hot light here. Those sunny days, man, that can be beautiful, man. Summer's a great time of year, but it also could be, oh man, one of the most downtrodden type of times of year, man, because heat can be oppressive, especially where I'm from. I'm from Louisiana. That heat gets oppressive, man, in the bayou, man. In Atlanta here where I'm at right now, it can be pretty bad. They don't call it Hot Atlanta for nothing, man. But my first fragrance is one of those fragrances that helps to combat that, man. I'm gonna start with my designer, and man, this is another one that shows up in all of my videos in the background because it's one of my favorite fragrances, man. If you can't tell by the dent. Now this one, actually, I have the refills. I just haven't wanted to. I've just been lazy about going ahead and refilling it. But and the refills are pretty affordable too. This is Terre de Mes Eau Givré. There we go. Now focus. Eau Givré is gorgeous, man. This is when I say that it has some stuff to combat that heat, it does, man. Just imagine like a cooling type of citrusy note, man. It's got a little bit of citron and grapefruit in there that gives it this beautifully tart type of vibe, and then it's got this cooling nature to it, and I think it's because I think it's got juniper berries in it, but it's got like a cooling nature that kind of accompanies that. So when you spray this on, you feel like it's cooling you down. It is gorgeous, man. It's got a beautiful scent trail, but it also makes you feel good. This is one of those swagger augmentation fragrances, and I talk about those a lot on my channel. Fragrances that augment your swagger, get your swagger up. This is one of those, man, because you know that you're probably going to be the best smelling person in the room when you're wearing this, but not only that, it's going to give you a little bit of comfort and cooling as you're wearing this. Now, as it dries down, you get into the woody nature of this. You never quite lose the little bit of sweet citrus that it has at the top, and I can tell you, if you can't tell by the dent, that this is a amazing fragrance to wear, you know, on a hot day. You just grab and go, spray it on, roll out the door, man. I love this stuff, and people love it too because it's a great compliment getting fragrance. Again, this is Eau Givré here from Terre de Mes, man. Now, my niche, one of the things I learned, by the way, to take a slight detour, one of the things I learned about my collection is that I tend to veer more towards designers in the warmer months, and I tend to veer more towards niche fragrances for my my winter month wears, right? So that I looked at that, I was like, I got to do something about that. I got to bolster my niches in my summer niches for the collection. Once I find some that I like, I mean, I got like your Imaginations and, you know, all of those in decant form that I'll wear from time to time. But I'm talking about as far as full bottle worthy ones. There's a couple of them. Still Life in Rio is one that I'm looking at very hard, and I actually think I'm going to go ahead and get that one. BDK Citrus Riviera, all that. But in the meantime, I do have one, and if you watch my channel at all, you know I'm a big fan of Mancera, man. Oh, I'm tearing things down over here. Mancera is one of those brands that kind of makes something for every season, and I got a couple of them coming up more, but this one is one of the most versatile fragrances that Mancera has ever put out, man, and I love it because it works in any weather. But man, when it's hot outside, it almost gets no better than Mancera's Aqua Wood. Man, Aqua Wood, what can you say about Aqua Wood, man? You've got this subtle pear note, right? So when people hear pear in fragrances, a lot of times they think, oh, this is going to be kind of feminine, it's going to be a little bit too sweet. Pear is one of those fragrances that is a subtle sweetness, but you pair pear, pun intended, with the smokiness of this fragrance. You pair pear with the floral nature in this fragrance. You've got something that is extremely special, and if I'm not mistaken, man, it's got rose in the base of it. Well, in the mids too, and you really do catch that fresh rose vibe here. It's not like extremely rosy in the mid, and I think it's like a Turkish rose, so it's a little bit soft. But it's a great filler here. The incense just kind of augments that, and like I said, with that subtle sweetness of the pear in here, man, you're talking about something, like I said, that is not only versatile, but when this thing warms up, it is surprisingly resonant. And in a good way. It's not a harsh resonance. It's got like a little bit of amber in here, I believe, as well. It's not a harsh resonance, but it is something that will push out. It will activate. The heat will activate this on your skin, man, and it gives a beautiful scent cloud around you that, man, it's like I said, it's one of the best that Mancera's ever put out, man, at least in my opinion. If you've never tried it, if you never put your nose on it, the dent don't lie, bro. Like, for real. The dent does not lie, man. Get your nose on this. This is great, man. This is Mancera's Aqua Wood. Can we get it focused? There we go. Now, I talked about the Mancera one, and I talked about the designer, the Eau de Vraies from Terre de Mes. My one to grow on is from the designer line of Polo. I'm going back with Polo again on the designer line here, man. This one is really, really good. This is a fragrance that I don't see a lot of people talk about, but again, the dent doesn't lie, as you can see. This is another great grab and go fragrance for the summertime. This is Polo's Deep Blue Parfum. Now, when you talk about fragrances that remind you of the summer, this one reminds you of the summer. This fragrance has an aquatic nature, super aquatic nature. It's nice and super salty in the way that it presents, man. When you spray this on, you imagine that you're at the beachfront. It has that kind of vibe to it. Now, counter that with the fact that it has like this another subtly sweet fragrance, because you don't want anything that's cloyingly sweet for the summertime. Another subtly sweet fragrance with a green mango note at the top of it. This is gorgeous. Like, when you wear this, you actually, like I said, you feel like you're at the beachfront when you're wearing it. It kind of dries down into more of a woody and floral type of fragrance, but at the same time, man, it is a gorgeous wear in the air, meaning that this is one that when you put it on and it leaves a masculine scent trail behind you, man. This is another swagger inducer, swagger augmentation. Is all about this. If you're looking for a great aquatic, if you're looking for something that's going to be a solid wear and it's not going to be overbearing, and it's got a little bit of versatility too. You could wear this into the office if you wanted to and not have a problem with it. Man, you couldn't hurt to reach for this, man. This is Polo's Deep Blue Parfum. Look at that parfum. Now we're coming into the fall, man, which is my favorite time of year, man. You start losing that oppressive heat that you would have for most of the year, man. Things start to get a little bit cooler. You start to get that little bit of a chill in the air. It's football season during that time, man, and that is my favorite time of year. You guys already know that. You start to see the colors and all that kind of stuff start popping up, man. It is a gorgeous time of year, and usually your fragrances will start to represent more depth during that time of year. You kind of move away from the lighter scents and start to get a little bit more into your darker and deeper types of fragrances, man. A little bit more of the sweetness starts to pop out during that time of year, man. And my first one during this time of year, man, it is all of those things wrapped into one. I'm going back to the Mancera tree because I just left it with that Aqua Wood blue bottle. Going back to it with this blue bottle from Mancera here. This is Mancera's Silver Blue. If my lights will, there it is. Mancera Silver Blue. If you've never smelled this, this is an amalgamation of goodness here. This could have went in the spring as well, but I think it fares better as a cooler weather fragrance. So what you're getting with this is a little bit of spice, but you're getting this fruit note. Now, it's kind of hard to describe, but let's say for instance you had like a pan and you were putting your fruits into a pan and you were just kind of simmering your fruits down a little bit, man, to bring the sugar out of them. You guys who cook, you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. They're like that apple pie type vibe there, man. That's what you get from the fruits in here. It's kind of a spicy type of fruity, kind of cooked down fruit type nuance here in the opening of it, and it's strong. It is powerful. This is one of those that you have to be careful of because you'll go nose blind to it really quick. Trust me, I know because I've had it happen to me, man. But you know, this is like one of those 2 to 3 spray, 4 sprays max hitter quitters here. But as you get out of that opening, you start getting these beautiful nuances and notes of caramel that start popping in, and it's got this resonance to it, resonanceness. They're gonna be with that word again, resonanceness to it, man. That just kind of pushes off of your skin as it kind of heats up as you're moving around. This is a great fragrance to wear if you're, spraying it on and you're gonna be out and about in the neighborhood, visiting or checking out restaurants and stuff like that. This is a great one for that. It's almost got a gourmand type of lean to it, but at the same time it's weird, but it's almost like a fresh type of caramel vibe to it. It's gorgeous, man, especially like I said in the air. This is one, as far as performance wise, because I haven't talked about performance on as many of them, but this one is, you have to like give a nod to the performance. It will stay on your clothes till you wash your clothes. It will stay on your skin for 8 to 9 hours at least. This is a powerhouse performer. Be careful with your sprays, but if you get that right balanced mix of sprays with this one, man, you are going to be the most talked about person in the room, man, and I'm talking about in a good way. This is Mancera's Silver Blue. Now the next one that I have up is my designer, and I this is my favorite designer drop of this last year, man. And I'm always careful to say this, but I kind of mean this. This may actually replace my Gentleman Reserve Privé as my favorite Givenchy release of all time. Now I'm waiting on Society Ombre, but in the meantime, they did their thing, man, with Gentleman Society Extreme. There we go here. Gentleman Society Extreme is gorgeous, man. So here's the thing with this fragrance, man. It's got this beautiful like coffee opening, but the coffee's augmented with this peppermint, so it's got this kind of like almost art house coffee type of vibe to it when you first smell it. It's a bright coffee. It's a invigorating type of coffee. It's not like just like a black coffee. It's almost like a coffee with this special little razzle dazzle little cream to it, but it's gorgeous, man. In the air especially, that peppermint wafts on this. Now to go along with that, they've got this orris that in there. So iris orris, this is an earthier type of iris, but it still gives it that buttery type of vibe here in the mids, and all throughout the rest of the life of the fragrance there is a little bit of woodiness to it, and then you start getting into like the vetiver of it, and it's got kind of a clean but slightly in my it's kind of like smoky-ish type of vetiver to it in the dry down. This is great. This is gorgeous. This is one that if you've never put your nose on any of the Gentleman fragrances here, you may look at this and compare this to the darling Gentleman Reserve Privé and like pick this hands down. It's that kind of fragrance. Now, I'm still partial to my Gentleman Reserve Privé, but man, this has got a special place, and I really believe this is going to be my favorite Givenchy release of all time before it's said and done. Not discounting Ombre, but we'll see how it goes with that drops. But in the meantime, guys, this is Gentleman Society Extreme. Now, My last one is actually it's one that doesn't kind of come up a lot. It's a designer fragrance, but not a lot of people talk about this one. But this is an amazing fall fragrance, man, as far as longevity goes, as far as the vibe goes, as far as just the price goes. This is a secret find here. This is Jesus del Pozo. I think I pronounced that right. Gold Cedar Nights. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Sorry for the quick jump cut. I dropped the bottle and it was a disaster going on over here, man. So I apologize for the quick jump cut. But Gold Cedar Nights, man. This is a gorgeous fragrance, man. You're looking at, okay, so imagine a fragrance with rum and cinnamon and cedar, of course, because it says cedar. But just imagine the amalgamation of those fragrances, man, with a good bit of a dose of vanilla coming in there and a little bit of an ambery nature to it. It is amazing. It's actually more amazing in the air than what it sounds like when I'm describing it here. So just imagine having that cinnamon, that powdery type of vibe to it. You've got that sweetness from praline as well in here, and that praline note kind of resonates throughout the fragrance, man. Even into like that 4 or 5 hour dry down, when you're getting a good dose of the cedar itself, you're still getting these little sprinkles and these little wafts of the sweetness that's coming from the praline in here, and you got that spiciness from the cinnamon, and I believe it has a little bit of nutmeg in it too. This is a gorgeous fragrance. Some people compare it to Intoxicated by Killian, and I smell both side by side. I can see why people would say that it does smell like Intoxicated, because it does have that vibe to it. It really, really does. This is a fragrance that is also pretty affordable, man. You can get it, I think, for less than like $30 right now for 100 ml, and it is a fragrance that is definitely for the fall signature worthy. It's that type of fragrance. It's that type of vibe. The bottle is interesting, but the fragrance inside is even more interesting, man. This is Jesus del Pozo Gold Cedar Nights. Focus. There we go. Now we're going to get into the winter season. As you can tell by the lighting behind me, winter is coming, man. And we're actually in winter right now, depending on what time you're looking at this video, man. And this is that time of year where you want something that's going to be warm and a cozy type of vibe to it, man. And, you know, some of your fall fragrances will do, but there are some for winter that are just going to be a lot more potent, a lot more deep, a lot more resonance. They're going to be fragrances that are perfect for what they call cuddle weather, man. And these are fragrances that are going to probably cut through the cold. You want something that'll be that you'll be able to spray on, man, and walk outside and people will still smell you, and the fragrance won't get constricted by the cold weather, man. And I have to start with one of my favorite designer pickups for a while, man. This is Tumi, and I'm gonna write this thing because it's a fingerprint magnet. This is Tumi Continuum. So one of the fragrance notes that people look at when they want something that's gonna be kind of a warm fragrance is tobacco, man. Amber and tobacco, and this has both of those. This has both of those in buttloads, amber and tobacco. This has a perfect blend of the two, giving that tobacco, which is kind of a semi-sweet tobacco, gives it kind of an ambery nuance that kind of goes throughout the life of the fragrance that we have here. It's got a little bit of oud in the base of it, but the superstars, again, like I said, are the tobacco and the amber on here. This is one of those, another one that's a swagger augmenter. When you put this fragrance on, it just envelops you in this beautiful scent bubble. And when you wear amber fragrances, they tend to do that. It enhances the scent bubble around you, man. You are a walking sillage bomb when you wear this fragrance. You walk by someone, they're going to pick it up. If they're not going to pick it up 6 feet away from you, in the room, trust me, when you're walking by, if you go by anyone, they're going to pick up this fragrance. This is gorgeous too, because like I said, it's not a super sweet tobacco, but at the same time, it's not like a incredibly overly earthy tobacco either. It's just the right blend of both of those facets of tobacco in here with an ambery nuance. It is gorgeous. One of my favorite wears during the wintertime, man. This is Tumi's Continuum. Now for my niche, man, I love manceras. I love some of my other niches that I have out there. The Nishane Fan Your Flames. This is one of my favorites during the fall and winter, man. But at Carlisle is another one that I love during this time of year. Red Tobacco Intense is another one that I really like, and it's starting to kind of raise up itself in my view. But when it comes to wintertime, when it comes to this time of year, man, you really can't do much better than Virtus Vanilla Oud. This is a polarizing fragrance. Some people love this fragrance. Some people hate this fragrance. Mark me on the side of love. Whew, my goodness. So what you're getting here is what it says in its name. You're getting a beautiful raw type of vanilla note here. It's not like an overly sweet vanilla, but it is a raw vanilla here, and you're getting a beautiful agarwood note underneath it, and that vanilla just rides, and it's blended so well with it, and it rides it so perfectly, man. As you get into the dry now, you get a little bit more powderiness to it. That sandalwood is the underrated hero in here. That sandalwood really gives it a texture, man, so that while you have the vanilla and the agarwood playing over here, that sandalwood is like, all right, let me go ahead and set this baseline so y'all can come and jump on the park here, and really that really promotes the beauty of the fragrance itself, man. This is gorgeous. This is an amazing compliment, monster. Like I said, there's a lot of people who hate it for some reason, but everybody that I'm around loves it, and I know that because they tell me consistently when I go to different events. This is an event fragrance. This is one that I will definitely put on if I'm going into an event for the job, or if I'm doing some work outside of the job. You know, I do my voiceover and all that kind of stuff thing when I'm doing meetings. This is a great fragrance for it, man. Another one though that you don't want to nuke yourself with, because it is surprisingly powerful. You won't think that it's pushing out as much as it is until somebody looks at you and turns their head like, oh my god, what is happening here? So be careful on the sprays. You don't need that many. This is a gorgeous one. This is Virtus Vanilla Oud. Now, oh my gosh, my ones to grow on. So I say ones to grow on because there's a couple of them right here. One that I just got from Mancera, and then another Mancera that's a little bit underrated, man. I hear no one talk about. So this is the first one, guys. This is a new release, actually, just released last year from Mancera. This is a beautiful blend of the best of Haultain and the best of Oud for Greatness, and the best of Azzaro the Most Wanted, and the best of Sauvage Elixir. It's an amalgamation of all of those fragrances, but it actually kind of has its own swagger to it. This is Mancera's Eternal Wood. So as I said, man, this one is actually a kind of a blending of a bunch of different fragrances here. In the opening, you get a lot of that initio Oud for Greatness here. You get a nice woody depth to the fragrance. It goes into more of a Haultainish vibe with that wood and almost like a smoky agarwood sweetness. I mean, a smoky agarwood with some sweetness on the top. But as Haultain uses like a praline note and it comes off a little bit overly sweet, this fragrance uses toffee. Now, when you hear toffee, a lot of times you start thinking about Azzaro the Most Wanted, and you would be right to think that that's the type of toffee that's used here. If Azzaro the Most Wanted had an elixir, I feel like this would be it. because it has this toffee note that is really ingrained into that woody dry down. It sits on top of the woodiness, but at the same time, man, you got a little bit of sandalwood. Again, sandalwood is a beautiful player, man. Textures this thing up beautifully. And the great thing about this one, whereas Hautang gets a little bit ashy further as it gets further into the dry down of it, where, you know, you're not picking up as much as the praline and all that kind of stuff, you pick up the toffee all throughout this fragrance. I'm talking about to the very bitter end of this fragrance, but it's barely like noticeable on skin. You're still picking up the sweetness from the toffee. This is a great interpretation of those fragrances, and dare I say, this is a great fragrance on its own. I don't want to say that Mancera was going for those, but they basically took the best of all worlds, put it together in a bottle that I think is going to be, in the next few years, people will be looking at this release from Mancera and saying that this is one of the best they've ever done. This is Mancera's Eternal Wood. Now, my last one to grow on, I know I had that one, so I'm giving you two to grow on this one, because this fragrance that I'm going to talk about, it was such a hard decision for my one to grow on between this one and the Eternal Wood. But I said, you know what, I gotta let you guys know about it. Because I don't talk about it enough, man. This is a fragrance that goes under the radar. People don't talk about this a lot, and I don't understand it, because I think it's one of the better Mancera fragrances that have been put out in a long time. This is Mancera's Precious Oud. Let's see if I can get it to move it. Can I get it? There we go. All right, this is Mancera's Precious Oud. So one of the things about this fragrance, I should say, is that it has a boozy vibe to it, man. It's got whiskey in it. They're using the Laotian oud, so that's not like a barnyardy, funky type of oud. Laotian oud is really soft and kind of supple, right? So you got that Laotian oud on top of that whiskey that you got. So you got a boozy type of woody type of vibe that's going here. But the main superstar, at least in the opening of the fragrance, is this tiramisu note. Tiramisu, coffee cake type tiramisu, as a matter of fact, man. It gives it this sweetness that's a little bit different. It's a little bit off of the beaten path of a lot of sweet fragrances that you would put your nose on. So you're getting that coffee cake kind of vibe here in the beginning with a little bit of the whiskey in there. So you got a boozy type of coffee cake vibe with a good bit of a smoky type of oud that's coming up there. But then again, you have your sandalwood that comes and textures this thing out. You get into like your rose, which is the superstar in the mid. The rose blending with that tiramisu, blending with that sandalwood. It is an intoxicating vibe, man. And this is a fragrance that every winter that I wear this, it is the most complimented fragrance that I have. And to be completely honest, it's probably one of the most complimented fragrances of all time in my collection here. So that's why it's one of my favorites. You don't need much of it. As you can see, I got a bit of a dent in here, but this one is like two to three sprays. You could dang near overspray it with 2 to 3 sprays. It is a beast when it comes to performance wise, right? Because it'll stay on clothes until you wash them twice sometimes, but and stay on skin for 8 to 9 hours. But in the meantime of that, you're getting something that is so gorgeous in the air. If you don't like rose fragrances, I get that, but man, this has a beautiful, I think it's a Bulgarian rose in the filler on this thing, and it really pops. It makes the tiramisu pop. It makes the oud pop. And like I said, that sandalwood, it just kind of textures everything out. It is gorgeous, man. If you have any reservations about it being too feminine, they've got a little bit of oak moss in the base on this too, so you can get a little bit of that. It's got some masculine with the whiskey too. It's got some masculine vibe to it, man. Definitely, if you've never smelled it, put your nose on it, see what you think about this. This is a fragrance that if you smell it off test strip, you'll be like, okay, this is nice. You gotta wear it though. You gotta actually put it on and let that stuff kind of like resonate off of your skin. It is gorgeous. This is Mancera's Precious Oud. Fix. There we go. So there you have it, guys. That is my one designer, one niche for every season, man. I hope you enjoyed my picks here. Again, shout out to Meech, Saint, man. Shout out to Randy, the fragrance dude, man. I appreciate you guys tagging me. And for all of my tags, man, BT, Scent Bubble, Frag Jitsu, and of course the ladies, man, Tracy Lynette, Naturally Liz, Nye, I'm looking at you, and Fragrance Finding, sorry. I hope you guys jump on the trend, man. I hope you guys actually do jump on this tag, man, and let me know that you did, man. In the meantime, guys, make sure as always you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, man. Like I said, I'll be posting again regularly soon, but I had to jump on this one, guys, because, hey, you know, just wanted to have a little fun with everybody, man. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.